Hi, and welcome everyone to today's live. And we're going to be going over I think one of the biggest trends that's going on in the real estate industry right now, real estate, mortgage, title, anyone who works in this space. And it's one of the things that was front of mind for Collab when we shifted into really changing our business model. And that was the need for real estate professionals, no matter who you are or which of the services you work in, to work as what I call power partners, to be able to compound your income and your efforts through power partners by working together. I started in the real estate industry at a company that was a one-stop shop. The owner had real estate companies, mortgage, title. Only piece that was missing was insurance. And I didn't really understand back then how valuable this model is. And it doesn't have to be just for the owner of the company, but for all of you who sell real estate, sell mortgages. There's so much value in working together. And I think sometimes when we're growing our own book of business, we forget this element. And it's easy to do because we all operate like independent contractors. But, if you dig in here and look at what's going on in other markets, if you don't see it as much in your market, you'll see that more and more companies and all the big companies that are succeeding, they are working together. They are adding other services so that it's easier for the customer. And that's where our industry is going. From Rocket, all the news with Rocket buying Redfin, Zillow and their services, like the big players are doing this. So if you are a small local business owner, you own a real estate brokerage, or you're a real estate agent, and you want to understand how this can, get put into your business, that's what I'm going to talk about today on this live for 10 minutes is, what I'm seeing from meeting with, talking to owners all over the country, and the different ways that you can integrate other revenue streams into your business, not just mortgage, but any of the ones that you're not involved in, and how you should think about the partnerships and the people that you work with. Because, for most of us, let's say if you are a loan officer, if you do business and you get business from a real estate agent, the thought of, okay, now this real estate agent getting their license or, being able to earn income off of what they refer you, I'm sure that scares a lot of people. But I think if we all think bigger and think from a higher level on the opportunity it can create for every single one of us, I hope that people continue to see the value in it, and that it won't take away from you. I think it will add to your business. And so first, before I pull anything up, just to show you some of the recent articles, the companies that are doing it, let's just talk for a second about what happens when a customer wants to buy a home. Well, what are the things that they need in the process? So they go start looking at houses and they meet with real estate agents. So they need that trusted real estate partner. Then they are going to need a mortgage partner. So usually the real estate agent's referring over to their trusted loan officer. And then when they go under contract, the loan officer is then using and referring to a title company, an insurance company. Those are I call what the core services are of that people purchasing are most likely going to need all four of those services, if not three or two of them. And so, let's first start with why this trend is happening. And it's really stemmed from consumers wanting an easier experience. The process of buying a house is stressful. People don't do it very often, so they don't know what to expect. And they want something that's easy. Well, what's easy to them is everything all in one place. I think about my doctor's office, and back 7, 8, 9 years ago, when I would go to the doctor's office, if they needed blood work, they would send me to a lab outside. Hey, in the next week, go and stop at one of these labs. when they would need a sonogram on something, they would send me somewhere else to go get that sonogram. And this year I went down there and I had 3 different appointments. I had my regular appointment because they asked me, do you want to keep going there or do you want to just do it all while you're here? Well, I wanted to do it all while I was at that office. I wanted to see my doctor. I wanted to get my sonogram, get my blood work done in one place. And that is exactly what's going on, I think, in a lot of industries, but especially our real estate industry. And so understanding where this comes from, and it's from the desire of consumers wanting to have everything in one place. You know, if our goal as professionals is to serve consumers at the level and at the like where they're at, that's what they want. So how can you do that? And there is no one size fits all. I personally believe there's better ways. Some of the ways that, we'll just use for this live, let's call it mortgage and real estate, those 2 ancillary businesses. So there've been different ways that we've worked together throughout the past, 20, 30 years. So you have 2 separate companies, let's say, and that you will do MSA agreements, marketing service agreements, where, it's like a strategic partnership where both parties are involved in marketing and working together. And these marketing agreements have been around for a long time. Where I think then it's starting to change is not all marketing agreements work. Maybe not every agent is working with that person who's in the office. And so that causes a problem. If that mortgage partner is in your office and is investing in marketing with you, and they're not getting the return of everyone in your office, right? Those partnerships aren't going to last. And so we started seeing more joint ventures where a mortgage company would get formed that was owned partially by the real estate company, partially by a mortgage company. You've got Guaranteed Rate. Affinity does this. And this is where that specific business is meant so that these 2 parties work together. I was always intrigued by the model, but I think the biggest thing for me with the JV model was, and I think a lot of you who sell real estate probably think this way, is it's like, okay, that's great. And if it helps my service, okay. But like we all selfishly want at some level for it to also help our business. And so that's why I really, really, when I started seeing some of the newer models that started coming out, when Remax started their Moto franchise, it really intrigued me because then now you've got a model where the real estate broker can open their own mortgage company. You can have a loan officer paired with you doing it, and you have a system and a process. And it was the reason why we eventually took our course on how to open a mortgage brokerage, which was called Mortgage Broker Fast Track. And we turned it into a mortgage broker franchise, which is our collab lending franchise. Is it gives the owner of that business full control, not just half control, partial control. And it allows the real estate broker to include their real estate agents, to bring the loan officer in on ownership, so that more of us small business owners can be part of something that's bigger, that the Guaranteed Rate affinities are doing. It allows us, the broker model, to do something bigger in our local communities. And so I do think that it's really important for all of us to understand and start thinking about do I have a lending partner? Do I have an insurance partner? Do I have a title partner who's willing to start having this type of conversation about how we can work together in a bigger way that benefits everyone, right? It's got to be a win-win for everyone. And so I wanted to show you guys some of the companies that are doing this, and some of the articles that have been out there, so that it's not just me saying this and believing it, but that you also are seeing how many companies are doing this. Now, as I pull these up, I also want to say, if you are a real estate agent, I'm going to bring it down to the next level. Let's say you are, you want to start adding income as well. You can go and get licensed as a mortgage originator, get an NMLS number, and you can make that part of the team that you're building in real estate, where you have someone on your team and there's a way to be compensated for doing this. Will it require you to do extra work? Yeah, it will. But it doesn't have to be as much as a full-time loan originator does. There are ways to set this up, and the key to this is it being set up correctly, being RESPA compliant. And so you can do that. And we're seeing that in a lot of the West Coast states, California especially. You've got most of the real estate agents can get their mortgage license. It's all regulated by the same agency, and it makes it very simple. And so I think that is going to keep spreading across the country. And mortgage brokers are making it easier for real estate teams to be able to start incorporating mortgage into their team that's underneath a real estate brokerage. So I think that there's an opportunity for everyone to benefit from setting up a strong partnership. So let's pull up some of the companies and let's look at who's doing this so you guys can see it. All right. So I just grabbed a handful of real estate companies that, like, their taglines are your one-stop shop for all real estate needs. And so you can see how people are putting this out here. And using my example of going to the doctor's office, thinking through, if you removed yourself from what you do in the industry and you were a buyer and you were looking at who you wanted to use, what would be important to you and would make you use one company over another if they were seeing this type of a option in your marketplace. And so this is a real estate company. You can see here, I just pulled up one. It's called SB Realty. So it is a boutique brokerage who offers all different types of services. There's then, I would call it like your mid-sized brokerages, right? I don't know if any of you know Howard Hanna. Same thing. They have real estate, they have their mortgage company division, and then they have their title division. It's all, I mean, here we go. Real estate, mortgage, title, insurance. This is where it's going. This is where I believe everyone in the industry needs to start moving in some way, shape, or form. You need to have these partnerships solidified, and you need to make it very easy for the client, because that's what they're wanting. I think I have some other ones. Here's another company. This one's in New Jersey, One Stop Realty Shop. And this one's in Jersey. We looked at that one. I mean, you're going to see this over and over and over again. So, I think it's really, really important. And, you've got articles you can find if you just literally Google it. You can go on Forbes. Forbes has an article, why your brokerage should be a one-stop shop for home buyers and sellers, how agents and the brokerage benefit. I can say where, if you're a mortgage professional, going from, if you have an opportunity where you're working somewhere, to being part of starting and owning and opening a mortgage brokerage that's affiliated with a real estate company, that is a fantastic opportunity that any mortgage loan originator should grab at the chance to do. And so you've got Inman, one of the biggest influencers in the industry, have been talking about this. This is one of the broker owners that's in the Moto network. The one-stop shop model has been pivotal, not only for the experiences of our clients, but also for the culture between our real estate agents and mortgage professionals. They're all part of a family. And so, I think I've seen in the past when I've looked up real estate companies, you'll add, maybe property management services, right? Or title. Mortgage has been more of the unknown, like, how do you do it? But what I want to make sure is there are models now that you can use, that you can plug into. And the same applies to insurance. We just added insurance to our collab group of companies for our collab owners. Like, being able to add these other services and working as a team is what is going to serve the customer. Will mortgage joint ventures still be something that works? Will MSAs? What I think a lot of people don't realize is you can layer some of these things. So you can own a mortgage real estate company, you can own a mortgage company, and you can still do an MSA or have agents in your office be dual licensed, right? It's just you're doing it all now in-house instead of letting it go to a company that you have no control or decision-making power over. And let's look at the last one here. And then, a lot of these articles, though, say, but it has to be done the right way, because when it doesn't work, there's a reason. And this is what's holding up a lot of companies back from doing it, which is our industries are set up so that the professionals that all work in them, real estate agents, mortgage loan officers, we all work independently. We all have our style. We all have the people we work with. If you really want to work in a one-stop shop, if you want to be part of a team that's going to win, you've got to do it together. And so that's finding the right people. And sometimes that means parting ways with, partnerships that maybe aren't going to work in this new model if they're not willing to change and adapt the way that the industry needs to. It's not a personal thing, it's a business decision, but starting to move forward and work with people that also value power partnerships, because the old traditional way of everyone having their person and thing, that's what's going to hold you back from, you've got to work as a team in a group with the bigger group that you're surrounded by. So I just wanted to encourage everyone to really think about this trend in the industry, how you can plug into it. If nothing else, get curious and have a conversation about it. Schedule a 15-minute Zoom call with someone like myself and learn how to start tapping into this and make it part of your plan in the next 12 to 24 months. You don't have to do it next month, but start thinking about it so that all of a sudden you're not the last one who hasn't done it. So thanks for joining in today. We'll be back next week talking about just the mortgage broker industry in general, globally, but also in the US, what's happening, what's changing, because it is changing and it's changing fast. So I will see you guys next Friday.